Hello folks, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to have a little chat about my latest photographic purchase. So guys, before we actually get into the video, there's a couple of things I want to explain first and foremost. So let's have a drink of tea. This might be a long video. So, first thing is, I tried to make this video last week and I forgot to press the record button. So this is the second attempt. Hopefully, we are recording. So, yes, so you've probably gathered by the thumbnail what I bought. So, in this video we're going to sort of have a quick chat why I bought this particular type of camera, if we like. But also, I'm going to sort of explain roughly the reasons for buying a DSLR instead of going down the route of mirrorless cameras, and sort of most of the thoughts that are on this are based on, I suppose, my own type of photography, the sort of photography that I do, my experience with photography, and some of the things that I've sort of read and sort of learned over the past few months of deciding on the purchase, which is sat here, and it is still in the, well, I think it's still in the box. Hang on. Oh yeah. It is still in the box. Anyway guys, so with that said, let's get into the video. My first swig of tea. So, where can I start? So, I've bought, in case you hadn't guessed it or realised on the thumbnail, so I bought a Nikon D850. It's the kit, so it comes with a 24 to 120 f4 lens. So there is a reason that I got the lens or the kit, but we'll get into that as we go through the video. So, Nikon D850 is a full frame 45 point something or other megapixel camera. It's a DSLR as opposed to a mirrorless, as I said. I'm not sure when it was first launched, around about 2017 I think, but I will put it somewhere on its first launch date. So the D850 is widely regarded, guys, as probably one of the best cameras that Nikon had ever produced, and it is still being made at the moment, because this little baby here is brand spanking new. It hasn't been out of the box, Stephen, yet. So it's brand spanking new, it's still being produced, and they are still doing firmware updates. I don't know how long it will be produced for, but at the moment it is still in production. So, as I said, widely regarded as one of the better cameras, best cameras that Nikon ever produced, and that's the sort of things that I'd sort of read, and even today. So, how did I actually come to get the? I'm trying to try and keep this brief, guys. So, how did this actually? How did I end up buying this? So, before we start, I had no intention, before buying this, of buying a new camera. Not a mirrorless, not anything. I had absolutely no intention of buying another camera. I have a D300, Nikon D300, which is very, very old. Got a high shutter count, but it still works absolutely perfectly. So I've got that, which I would class as my, I don't know, sort of everyday camera, if I'm just popping out somewhere, I would take that. I also have a Nikon D810, which is, I suppose, the forerunner to the D850. That would be what I would class as my proper photographic camera. And I also have this, which is a little Canon EOS M50, which is my video camera mainly, talking head videos. And again, I would this be the sort of thing I'd take away on holiday. It's just simple, lightweight, easy to use camera. So as I said, guys, I was never in the market for another camera until this popped up. Now the reason it popped up, or the reason I was looking, I've been looking for, this is where the lens bit comes in, guys. So I've been looking for a sort of, I don't know, what would we call it, a kit lens for the D8 for the D810, because I have a 24 to 70 f 2.8 lens. Absolutely fantastic lens, but it's very big, very bulky, and quite a heavy lens. So I've been looking for something that's, I suppose we could class as a kit lens that, you know, is a bit a longer reach, you know, and a lot lighter and a lot more of a compact lens. Sorry, this bird sat on trees squawking. Anyway, so I digress. So I've been looking at the second-hand market, looking at second-hand lenses, not necessarily by Nikon, and so much going on outside. Hopefully it won't disturb us. Sorry about that. So I've been looking at sort of second-hand lenses, you know, in the sort of 24 to 105 range. And we were actually on holiday in our, well, not on holiday, on our pre-Christmas break in Swanage. So I was looking at my local camera shop for second-hand lenses whilst we were spent an evening in the hotel, and I spotted that the D850 was actually, the Nikon had an offer. Not done by the retailers, it was actually done by Nikon, and it had £600 off. So that brought it down to a more affordable cost, if you like, guys. Now, when the D850 actually first came out, it was one of those cameras that I'd always wanted, always dreamed of owning, if you like, guys, but it was just, you know, when it first came out, way expensive, and was still, and still is quite expensive now, but, you know, so I could never afford it back then, but with the offer price, it became, well, a little bit more affordable, shall we say. So, was sort of, so that sort of whetted my appetite, so I started sort of looking into it, and sort of weighing up the balance, whether I should buy it, shouldn't I buy it, should I buy it, you know, and then having reviewed or looked at the sort of price of the kit, so the kit lens, the price of the kit, sorry, is roughly the same price as the camera would have been without the offer price, if that makes sense. So, it, you know, so well, that's actually not a bad option, you know, because I'm going to get a lens. So then, you know, like you do, you started looking and researching. But then I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to buy a new camera, why would I buy old technology in a DSLR as opposed to the latest and greatest mirrorless? Because I think, you know, mirrorless is the future. That's my sort of a humble opinion. Mirrorless is the future of photography. So, you know, the DSLRs are more like dinosaurs, I suppose, guys. But certainly in the future of photography, mirrorless is the way to go. So you might wonder why then, if mirrorless, and I think mirrorless is the way to go, why did I buy a DSLR, or why did I buy the 850? Well, I suppose the simple answer is I always wanted one. Anyway, so then I spent several weeks, months, pros and cons of which, and at some point I did actually decide that if I am going to buy a camera, I would buy a mirrorless, and it would have been the Nikon Nikon Z6 III. That was what I was going to buy, mirrorless camera, you know. all the bells and whistles. What I would say though, whereas the Z63 is a, what category we put that in? It's just an everyday photographer's camera. This is a pro spec camera. So, you know, with that being said, you know, it's got all the features of a pro spec camera. You know, it's fully weather sealed, it's got all the bells and whistles, everything you'd want from a pro spec or semi pro spec camera, whereas the D63 is probably more hobbyist camera, you know, amateur, you know, somebody who enjoys photography as a hobby. So, you know, there's that difference. But it's, you know, the Z63 is a mirrorless camera, so, you know, it's the latest technology. Aeroplanes. So, yeah, so we were, you know, so I was, you know, which do I go? Which do I sort of go? And always this voice in my head saying, well, you've always wanted the 850. So, you know, the opportunity was there probably to get one. So it was, you know, I kept sort of, you know, backwards and forwards. I suppose cost-wise, so it's a low-flying plane. So cost-wise, that is a low-flying plane. I do apologise. I don't know where he's going, but it's definitely a low-flying plane. Yes. So the cost-wise. Just a word to the wise then, guys. Let's say because of the recent things happening in the world, we are not far from RAF Fairford. So any planes that are going out and about doing their thing literally come almost over our house. So that's probably what you can hear now. Just bear with me. Can't see it, but it's certainly above us somewhere. Anyway, I digress. I apologise for the noise. So, what was I saying? Cost-wise, the un-offer price of the D850 was about the same price as the Z6. With the offer price, it probably would have been about the same price as the Z5. Spec-wise, it's probably more equivalent to the Z8, which is sort of $4,000, so I ain't going to be buying that. So, you know, it was, you know, I just spent time chatting to myself in my head, you know, this. And I suppose, in all honesty, one of the main things, and I know this is probably going to make people laugh, because it makes me laugh when I think about it, but one of the main things that actually put me off buying a Z6 or the Z cameras is you would need an adapter. So, I've got some lovely Nikon glass, as I mentioned, 24 to 70 f2.8. I've got the 70 to 200 f2.8. I've got the 14 or 12 to, I can't remember. I got the 12 to 14 or something else f2.8. Again, I'll put that down in the comments. So I've got a fair selection of nice Nikon lenses that I've accumulated over my years photography. So I would have to use an adapter, and when I was actually in the shop ordering this, I did actually try a Z6 III with an adapter with one of my lenses, or one of the lenses that I have, and I just didn't like the look of it. I know the looks doesn't matter about the quality of the picture, but I just didn't like the look and the feel with that sort of tube. That's all it is, a tube basically, sat in between the lens and that. I didn't like the look of it. So as silly as it may seem, that was the probably the thing that prompted me more to get the Z against the Z series cameras than to stick with the sort of old-fashioned, if you like, DSLRs. So I got some lovely glass, which you know, I could still use with an adapter, and I know what it'd be. I'd probably think, well, should I buy some new lenses? And where I am at my time of life, I couldn't afford to splash out and replace all my lenses with equivalent in the new sort of Z mount. Anyway, so that's where we arrived at. In the end, I decided to buy it. Even the guy in the shop couldn't believe that I was going to be buying one of these, the D850. I had to order it. I had to wait because I think the demand was quite high because of the cost, or the cost reduction, and so I had to wait, order it, and I had to wait. So I actually ordered it, I think it was just before the Christmas, and I got it sort of about mid-January, and it's sat in the box ever since. So we're going to have a look at the box in a minute. We'll take a look at what's in the box. I might do a mild unboxing. So what do we actually get? I just sort of like go into what I actually got. So as I said, guys, it's the Nikon D850 with the 24-120 VR kit with an f4 lens. But I also got that, which is the MB D18. That's a battery grip. So Karen actually bought that for me for a Christmas present. So that's to go with that. I also bought some other bits and pieces, memory cards and all that, which we'll go into that at the moment. So guys, we'll have a look in here. So yeah, it might have been a bit of a waffle, but I just sort of thought, you know, why did I buy the D850 as a DSLR when mirrorless cameras are the king? Because I've always wanted a D850. And I suppose I said at the beginning, my type of photography, would the features that the latest and greatest, the Z6 IIIs, would they actually enable me to take better photographs? Maybe, maybe not. Would I enjoy my photography more or less? Well, for me, I think I probably enjoy the photography more using the D850 based upon the fact that I always wanted a D850. Anyway, so I waffled on long enough, so what I'm going to do is set up and we'll try and do a little top-down shot of what we got in the box, and maybe a quick unboxing. But as it's Easter weekend and it's not a bad weather, people are out and about doing jobs, so you might hear some background noise. I do apologise that being the case. But we'll have a look in the box, and when we have a look, we'll have a quick chat, and then we'll see what goes from there. Anyway, bear with me, guys, while I have a quick swap around. So, guys, let's see what's in the box. Well, we know what's in the box. It's one of them. So let's have a look and see what we got, guys. So, what we got? So, we bought a spare battery for to go in the battery pack. There's no point having a battery pack without a spare battery, so I bought a spare battery. That was a separate purchase. Well, actually, Karen bought me that when she bought me the battery grip. So I got a memory card. Actually, I got two memory cards. So the guy in the shop has I was buying the equipment. He basically gave me a deal on the two cards. So that's because it's a 2-slot camera. So we've got an SD card and a what's that? That's a CF Express Type B. So again, he gave me a deal on the cards. Now I'm not up to speed much with the CSF Express cards, but I'm not going to be shooting videos, so I didn't particularly want anything fancy. So hopefully that'll do. If in the future I'll have to buy something perhaps a bit faster. So a rather large instruction book, which of course I shall read from cover to cover. Not. Love them or hate them. I got a filter to go on the lens, so a UV filter to go on the lens. Some people love them, some people hate them, but I got one of them to go on the the new lens. Now I said the guy he gave me a bit of a deal on the bits and pieces and more instructions there, look, warranties and whatever else. So that's also we got power cord for the charger. So the actual charger for this is exactly the same as the charger for my D810 and same battery pack, guys. So in effect here I've got 4 batteries. So let me flick that one over and see what we actually got. Right, so what's next? So what we've got, so there's lots of other bits and pieces. I'm sort of balanced on the end here, guys, so just bear with me. So that's a little pouch, for a protective pouch you put your lens in, but I won't be using that. So that's the USB. It's a weird one. I don't know what that one is. It's a weird one, that one. It's a USB type something or other. It's a strange one. I have seen it before, but for the life of me, guys, I don't know what we would call that one. So what else? What's that there? Now these are, I don't know what that is. Some sort of clips. I think that's clips for the I believe if it's anything like the D810, you put them onto the USB lead, and then it screws into the side of the camera. It stops you pulling the lead out. I think it's for when the camera's tethered. It's the same as what's on the D810. So that's the battery for the camera. It comes with the camera. I have charged up the battery, so I haven't actually got the camera, which I'm assuming that's it. I haven't actually got the camera out of the box, but I got the batteries out. So again, that's the charger. That's the same as the. I'm not going to get out the bags, but that's the charger. So that's the same as the D850. Sorry, it is the D850, same as the D810. They're both the same charger, which is good. What's that? That's the camera strap. I'll probably be using that. I've been looking at getting one of them quick release straps, but I haven't actually found anything that suits, if you like. What's that here? What that's not a lens hood. It's rather a large lens hood, but there we've got a lens hood. Right, so this, I'm assuming, oh yeah, this is the business, this is the beast. Oh, that's heavy. It's very heavy, actually. That's a lot. So this is honestly the first time I've actually got the camera out of the box, out of its packet. That is a heavy beast. So there we are, guys. That is a Nikon D850. So it's pretty much as the layout as the D810, with the exception, I think the screen is it's one of these, sort of does that. I don't know. Well, I'm showing that because I'm off to one side, but it's one of these. It's not a flippy screen, but it's sort of one of them type of screens. Yeah, that's the same as the 850 and the 810 with the eyepiece cover. So there you go, guys. That is a heavy beast. So that's a 45 megapixel Nikon D850. So I'm assuming that's where the card goes. Oh yeah, there's the card slot. Yep, so I don't know why you're going to see that. That's the SD card and there's the CF Express. And all the terminals, the USB there, mic, and headphone socket there if you're using it for video, and a HDMI, yeah, HDMI there. I'm not going to be shooting video with it. Little joystick thingy there. So it's very similar to the D810 10, but with a few more buttons and a few more features. But there you go, guys. That is the camera that I've always wanted, and I've got one, and I've got it out of the box. It's going to go straight back in the box shortly. Right, let's put that there so we don't knock it over. Now then, so here is the lens. So how does that? Oh, there we go. That's a brilliant bit of packing, I have to say. Right, let's put that to one side. I'll leave the so. I'm trying to figure out. Right, that's that. Right, guys. I'm going off to one side here. Oh, even that lens is heavy. Right, a lot of rustling going on. So there we are, guys. So that is that's the 24 to 120 f4. And considering it's an f4, that's quite a chunky lens. So I'm not going to hook anything up for the moment because yeah. So that's a 24 to 120 f4 lens. So it's a, what do they call it? Like an external focus. It gets longer. Actually, that's nice and smooth. With a bit of a gold accent around there, as I say. Yep, that's nice and smooth. So, there you go, guys. That was an unboxing of my Nikon D850. So, I'm going to now carefully pack all this away, and we'll have a quick chat afterwards about that. So, there's an unboxing, so that's all the stuff we've got. So I'm going to gently pack all this stuff away, guys, and then we'll have a bit of a chat. Yeah, I heard what you were saying. You wanted to have a look at the MB D10 battery grip. So let's have a quick look at that, guys. I don't think there's much to look at, but we'll have a look anyway. As so what we've got tucked down there, a great wad of instructions. There you go, guys. So that's the instructions. So, what else have we got? So that's a little pouch. Now in this little pouch, because it's the same as the, although it's not the same grip, it's actually the same sort of setup. So in that pouch is a adapter thing. So you can use, I believe, if it's anything like the D810, you can actually use like normal double A's, I think, or certainly a different set of batteries. You might even, or there is a battery actually, guys, that is for the D5, I think. But there's the battery grip. So. That's the bit that plugs into or goes into the bottom of the camera. I think it's very, very similar to the one that's on the well, very, very much similar on the D300 and the D810. So there's where the battery go in there. Just that's the so the battery just clips into there. So when you're using it vertical like that, you have the buttons on the top, so you can use it vertically, and you still have these mirror the buttons on the camera, and the same as these here. So, but there's a battery. I mean, there's no weight to it until the battery goes in, but I've got them on all of my Nikon cameras, and to my mind, it does improve the grip that way. But anyway, guys, that is the battery grip for those that wanted to see it. Anyway, then we'll go and set back up in our normal position, guys. So guys, that was an unboxing of my Nikon D850 and a bonus unboxing of the MB D10 battery grip. Thank you for Karen for buying that for Christmas. So there you go, in a nutshell, probably wasn't a nutshell actually, but that was my reasons for buying the DSLR. And as I said, I think the main thing was I just didn't like that adapter. I don't think it, you know, aesthetically I didn't like it. It's probably no different to, you know, the image quality between an adapted lens or a standard lens on this, probably no different. But there's a thing. Would I don't know. I've got a 24-70 f2.8 in the old mount. So would the modern Z series 24-70 be better than my 24-70, which it probably would be? So that 24-70 on the Z 24-70 would probably perform better on the Z camera than my 24-70 would perform with an adapter, because it's just I believe it's just a better lens. So, you know, I'd have this camera with a much better, you know, much I won't say better camera, but you know, it's more modern, with more modern technology and the latest and greatest in lenses. So I will be using lenses that are relatively old design on a latest spec camera. So yeah, for me, I don't think for me it was going to be any option. If I was going to buy another camera, it was going to be an 850. Rightly or wrongly, I'll probably be proved wrong. Anyway guys, I'm wittering on here. As for photography, well, hopefully guys, in the next 2 or 3 days, the weather is supposed to be getting better. So I'm going to go out and do a bit of photography with the camera. What else would you do with a camera apart from photography? Dope. Anyway, so I'm going to go out. I've got an idea where we're going to go, but it's not going to be a, let's say, it's just going to be a shakedown test. I'm not going to, you know, it'll be just trying different settings and just see what the results are. You know, I've got to set it up to how I like it. There's quite a lot of settings to set it up how I like it. Anyway guys, as I said, I'm wittering on, so thanks for this one. I hope you've enjoyed this little unboxing and perhaps an insight into my choice of camera. And we will catch you on the next one. So until then, sorry, no, you're not coming. You can stay in the box. No, I don't care. You stay in the box. Sorry. So we'll see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.